Hi friends, my name is Amber with Kaleidoscope Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me today. So all you'll need is a mat, some blocks if you like to use them. I definitely recommend them if you have a little SI joint pain or low back tenderness. A blanket if you need a little extra comfort in your knees, and just an open mind. Come on and sit in a comfortable position, whatever that means to you. Doesn't have to be cross-legged. And you might sit up on the blanket or a block, especially if you find that your legs are a little tight, and when you do sit cross-legged, your knees are up a little bit. Sitting up on a block lets your pelvis rotate forward a little bit, gives you a nice little arc in the lumbar spine, which is healthy. You can lengthen through the spine a little bit more. And when the pelvis rolls forward, it releases a little bit of tension in the legs, so you can rest them down closer to the floor. But do whatever is most comfortable for you. So as we make our way into our comfortable position, just kind of recognize what's going on in your body right here, right now, because we want to come into this space. So we have our little mat, we have our room, maybe you've got candles burning or incense, which is always lovely. Maybe you've rubbed some essential oil on your pulse points, gave it a little whiff, and you're ready to go. So just really take in these sensations, the smells and the feels, the tastes even. And just come into this space. Be glad that you have this short time for yourself today. Get a little stretching, a little strengthening in. And a little inquiry, which is always good. Checking into that inner self. So once you've found your comfy space, you've got all the fidgets out. If it's comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. If that's not comfortable, you can take your gaze down to the ground. That's fine too. And we're just going to breathe for a couple of moments here, just really settling in. Again, just noticing any nuances happening in the body, any tight spots, any spots that feel really good. Maybe it was real easy for you to sit today. And I know my left leg always feels a little bit more like there's a little tension in it than my right leg does. And I'm just noticing that. And I'll pay attention to that as I move through my practice today, making sure that I don't overdo any of my movement. And I ask that you do the same, taking care of yourself. So I'd like to begin our practice with bumblebee breath today. So bumblebee breath, we'll take a nice inhale. So you're just going to make this humming noise, and you're going to feel it hopefully, in the back of the nostrils, in the throat. And it's just a nice relaxing way to let your exhale be elongated. So let's go ahead and try that together. Take a nice deep inhale. And when you're ready to exhale, inhale. And don't worry if your breaths are shorter than mine, that's fine, just keep going. You might even feel a little vibration in the teeth or the lips, pulling that belly button to spine as you expel that breath. Let's do it one more time. Big breath in. Good. Find your regular pace of breath. Let's bring hands to heart space, and I invite you here to set an intention for your class today. And don't let it be something that's out of reach. Let it be kind and nurturing, something that, you know, you can either practice on your mat, or maybe you can gather on the mat and take off the mat into the rest of your day. Maybe a little peace and calm, a little strength, grounding, whatever calls to you. Excellent. Let's take our right hand behind our back. The forearm's going to kind of rest along the low back, and maybe you grab your right hand with your left hand here. So we find a little tug on the right side, and we lengthen through the spine, and we're just going to dip our left ear to our left shoulder. Find a nice little stretch through the right side here. And we're just going to breathe for 3. And softly release. Let's scoot that left arm behind. And you may find one arm kind of extends a little farther than the other one. And then when you're ready, we're going to drop right ear to right shoulder. Find that opening in the left and breathe for 3. Good. Go ahead and release that. Let's bring the hands up over the head. We're going to clasp the fingers together, turn the palms out, stretch it up nice and long. See if you can lengthen between the ribs and the hips. Big breath in. Let it go. You can sigh it out. Let's do that again. Big breath in. This time, go ahead and rotate or drop the arms to the right. And we're just going to stretch, getting a nice big opening on the left. Breathe here for 1. On your next inhale, you're going to connect gently to the core, drawing yourself back up, finding that full stretch through the torso, and exhale to the opposite side. So you're getting a nice little stretch through the forearms, through the fingers, through the side body. Opening up a little around the shoulders, back to center on the inhale. One more time each side, please. Inhale, center, and exhale to your left. And inhale back up. Go ahead and slowly release those hands and find a nice rounding, circling of the wrists. Float the hands down. Good. So I'm going to go ahead and pop off my block. And we're going to do a little bit of twisting here. As I adjust myself. So if you have some low back issues, if your low back is tight, instead of twisting all the way over this way, you can uncross your legs and kind of come into more of a deer pose. And that way your pelvis is going to rotate forward a little bit, and you can find that twist through the spine. As a matter of fact, we can all do that just for fun. So go ahead and drop your knees to one side. Just a nice little variation here. Relaxing through this area, through the low back. Take a nice deep inhale. And then let your shoulders, your left shoulder kind of move to the left a little bit more. If you want, you can find some extra movement in the neck. And if you don't feel like you're getting enough twist here, you can always move back to the cross-legged position. Let's take one more breath. Coming back to center. And go ahead and swing those legs to the opposite side if you're doing this variation. And then go ahead and bring your palms to the side, right in front of your right leg, lifting up through the spine. Take a nice deep inhale and rotate that right shoulder back just a little bit. And you're going to notice probably that one side is a little easier to rotate than the other. You might feel a little more tension in one side. Totally natural. Good. So we're going to come on back to center, and we're going to move on to our hands and knees here. You can set your props out of the way for the moment. Coming into tabletop position. So we're going to do cat-cow, but we're going to do a variation. So we're going to do cow, and then as we exhale, we're going to round into cat and then float down into our child's pose. So wrists underneath our shoulders, fingertips spread nice and wide. We want to build this good foundation. Knees underneath our hips, toes directly behind our knees. And to begin, we just find a nice straight spine. And our neck is going to be an extension of the spine too. And then when you're ready, let's breathe it in, dropping the belly down. Hips and gaze come up. And as we exhale, we're going to round through the spine. And you can start at the tailbone and round all the way up. And then drop it back. Exhale. Release the breath. And then inhale, you can kind of scoop yourself forward into that cow, if that feels good. If not, just go straight into tabletop and then find your cow. And then exhale, rounding through the spine, stretching through those arms, reaching back with the hips. Exhale. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, drawing ourselves forward into cow, letting those sits bones spread. And exhale, float it down. You got it. Hang out in child's pose for just a few here. Knees can be spread wide, toes together if that feels good in your hips. If it doesn't, just go ahead and bring those thighs back together. You can rest your forehead on the ground or on a block or on your hands. We're just going to take a couple breaths here. Wonderful. Go ahead and make your way into tabletop. Bring it back up. Good. Okay. So we're going to do a variation of bird dog or spinal balance. So what we want to do here is we want to fire up our glute muscles, because our glute muscles help us in just balancing and just support all the way around, walking, standing, sitting, all that stuff. So we want to try to fire up our glutes here as we begin our practice. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to reach our right leg out, and we're going to reach our left arm out. Hug in through the belly. Fire up that glute. So we don't want to just lift it up without firing up that glute, because you're going to start pulling on that low back. So even before you start to lift that leg, fire up the glute, hug your butt in, stretch out that arm. And then so for a count of 3, we're going to lower back down. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do that 3 times. We're going to lift for 3. 1, 2, 3. Nice and slow. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it one more time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Firing up that glute. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. So this time you're just going to reach the right leg out behind you, and we're going to take the left toes and we're just going to kick them to the left about 6 inches, and we're going to roll our hip up and come into our side plank, supported side plank. Now just try this one for the first round here. We're going to do a couple of rounds. We'll do a few different variations. Take a couple of breaths here. So we want to stack our shoulders. We're going to hug in through the belly a little bit, press through that heel, and connect through the palm of the hand and your shin for support. You got this. So as we come down, we're going to move in to thread the needle. So the right arm is going to go between our left knee and our right palm. And we're going to rest on the shoulder for just a couple of breaths. So when you're ready, take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, we're going to swivel back down, drop that right knee, right hand underneath the shoulder. Find this nice little stretch here. Booty's in the air, resting gently on the shoulder. If you feel any crankiness in the neck, you can always rest a block on top, rest your head on top of a block. One more breath here. Using that left hand, press yourself up back into tabletop position. So we're going to do that on the other side as well. So nice and slow. Remember, connect to the glute first and then begin to lift. For 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Last time, both arm and leg. And 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead and lift slowly that left leg back behind us. Make that little kickstand with the right foot. Just drop it to the right just a little. Press into that right palm and lift yourself up. Now, if this doesn't feel comfortable to you, if it's too much, go ahead and drop that left foot down to the ground. Totally up to you. Relaxing through the shoulders. Remember, you're pressing up through the palm and connecting to your shin for your base. And we're going to thread the needle once again. Take a nice deep inhale here. And as you exhale, slowly bring that leg down. Find your foundation and rotate that left arm underneath. And we're going to find a few variations with this as well. One more breath here. Go ahead and draw that palm towards your nose. Press yourself up. Let's go ahead and do that on the other side. Find that foundation. Fire up that right glute and inhale. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Connect to that core. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Bring it on down. Last time. And release it down. Bring the right leg up by itself. You can find that little kickstand again. Draw yourself up. Now here, I want to give you the option to go ahead and come on into full side plank if that's in your practice. If you're like, no, not today, then don't do it. No big deal. 2 more breaths here. Building strength in the arms and the core, the glutes, the legs. So good. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring our legs down and we're going to float back through our thread the needle. So this time, I invite you to reach out with your left hand and press it into your mat. At the same time, we're going to connect to the knees and press into the knees. And then find a little activation through the right shoulder as well. So you should feel pretty active, pressing in the left arm, left palm, into your knees, connecting to the ground. It really, when I do this, it really fires up the stretch all the way down to my hip from my shoulder. And if that feels good to you, you can continue with this or just go back to the first variation. One more breath. Go ahead and bring that left palm in. Push yourself up. Good job. Let's go ahead and do the other side. Take a breath here, get your foundation ready, and on your in-breath, start to lift. Right hand, left leg, 1, 2, 3, and exhale, 3, 2, 1. Keeping those glutes and the core fired. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. One more time, you got it. Bring it up. And down we go. Fire up that left leg, bring it out. And go ahead and find that kickstand if you want it. Left hand to the sky. Again, that other option is available to you. Full side plank if you're into it at this moment. Wherever you are, give your belly a little love, connecting to that core. Firing up some Agni, some fire in the belly. One more breath. Good. Release it down on your exhale. Go ahead and thread the needle. Left hand through this time. Right hand comes forward, pressing the palm into the ground. Press into the knees. Really firing up this shape. One more breath here. And right hand to the nose, bring it up. So we have one more set to go on each side. So now you know exactly what we're doing. I'm going to add a little bit of a variation again, but you know the gist. So really dive into it this time. So find your foundation. And then when you're ready, right hand, left hand, or right foot, left foot, right leg, left hand. There we go. Here we go. Up. And release it down. 2 more. 3, 2, 1. Nice and slow and controlled. Connecting the muscles to the brain. Such good work. One more time. And release. So here we go. We're just going to lift up right leg. And go ahead and find that kickstand. Come into your side plank. So this time, if you want to add a little bit of core work, we can bring knee to elbow on the exhale. Inhale, stretch it out. Any of the other variations are perfect if you want to hang out there. We're just going to do 3 of these. You got it. All right, let's make our way down. Thread the needle. And on this variation, reach the left hand out. We're going to press into the ground. And you're going to extend through your left leg. So we're just going to find a little bit of extension here. Stretching out through the calves, getting a little into the toes of the left foot, pressing into the left palm, and also into the right knee. Another variation, if you wanted to do it, you can do prayer hands as well, which takes a little extra coordination. So I'm not going to necessarily do it today. Maybe on the other side. Go ahead and relax. Bring it into center. Press yourself up. We got one more time to do this one with that crunch variation. Inside plank. All right. So here we go. Left leg, right arm. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Last time. And bring it on down. This time, left leg goes by itself. Find that kickstand. and check out whatever variation it is that you'd like to do in your side plank. I'm going to go ahead and do crunches on this side. So I'm going to take an inhale and exhale as I bring knee to elbow. Inhale and exhale. Ooh, big pop in my ankle. Inhale. Last time, exhale. Gonna stretch it out big one last time. Hey there. And go ahead and bring it down. And we're gonna go ahead last time, thread the needle, stretch that arm through, right hand forward, and right leg is going to come back. And actually, maybe I'll show you that prayer arm variation, just so you can see what it looks like. You can try it if you'd like. If not, no big deal. Just find your breath. And then when you're ready to release, we're going to go ahead and slowly come out. Find your tabletop position again. And I invite you just for a few moments to find some organic movement. So whatever that feels like to you. Should feel pretty good. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and spread the fingertips out wide. Bring them in front of your wrists or your shoulders a little bit. We're going to turn our toes under, and let's go ahead and come into downward facing dog. Stretching up through the hips, pressing into the palms of the hands. We want an external rotation in our shoulders and hugging belly up so we can lift the hips. Go ahead and walk your dog. Remember, heels don't have to touch the ground. And then find a little stillness here and see how that feels to you. You can relax your neck. And then when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and kind of float into a plank. And then drop our hips down. Relax the toes, coming into a upward facing dog. Big breath here, finding a gentle stretch through the front of the body. Relax the shoulders back. Turn those toes under, take an inhale. You can come into tabletop position, or you can come right back into your downward facing dog. That's up to you. Let's do that again. Inhale, roll yourself forward into plank. And we're going to exhale, dropping the knees, softening the toes, rolling those shoulders back. One more breath here. Take a nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, turn those toes under. Make your way to downward facing dog through tabletop. And we're going to drop the left heel, inhale, right heel up, or right foot up. Go ahead and rotate through the ankle here for just a moment. Take a nice deep inhale, and when you're ready, we're going to float that right foot forward. Perfect. So make sure you're on railroad tracks, not a balance beam. We don't want to lose our balance here. And then when you're ready, draw yourself up, hands to the sky. Press that heel back behind you. Good. Big breath in, reach to the sky. Take an exhale, and we're going to find a little twist here. Left hand to the outside of the right leg, and your right arm's just going to kind of swivel behind your back. Take a nice deep breath here. Find a smile, enjoy your space. You can always drop that back knee down if you need to. One more breath here. Good. Go ahead and slowly unwind. Fingertips come back to the sky on an inhale. And we're going to exhale, left hand down, right hand stays high. Revolve, twist. Good. Take a nice deep inhale here. We're going to exhale, right hand to the inside of the right foot. Walk that right foot out so the heel is on the mat. Your toes are off the mat. Palms to the ground as we find our lizard pose. Now, lizard pose, you can always drop your knee down. Just depends on what you'd like to do. And you're just going to find a little bit of movement through your right leg. So maybe dipping the knee out, rolling forward and back a little bit. You can experiment rocking in the hips. Just find a little bit of movement here. Doesn't have to be a big movement. It can be small. Good. So if your knee is not dropped in the back, go ahead and drop it down. And you may like to grab blocks here. And we're just going to walk ourselves back into a nice little runner's lunge here. So when you're in this position, you can kind of tilt your pelvis forward some, and that will kind of help get into the hamstrings. Now, if you dip forward like so, you're definitely going to get a nice little stretch through the leg. You can also just kind of straighten out through the spine. And like I said, kind of turn the tailbone under just a little bit and dip your right hip down some. And I'm pretty sure you're going to feel a stretch through the leg somewhere. You can point and flex. Yeah. And then we're going to walk our hands over to the right side. And drop your pinky toe down to the ground. So both hands are on the right side of your right thigh. Dropping the pinky toe down to the ground. Good. So let's go ahead and come back around nice and slow. Coming forward. We're going to turn that back toe under. Bring the palms to the ground. Right foot's going to come behind us. Pressing into the palms. Find that foundation. Stretch back into your downward facing dog. Stretching those hips to the sky. Nice deep breath in here. Let's do 2 more deep breaths here, and I invite you to find your lion's breath if that feels good to you. So lion's breath, you're just going to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to widen your eyes, you're going to look towards your forehead, and your mouth is going to open, and your tongue is going to reach towards your chin. So take a nice deep inhale here. And you're going to kind of, quote unquote, roar your breath out. Let's do 2 more. Big breath in. One more. Good. Deep, deep cleansing breaths. Let's drop that right heel to the ground. Inhale, left heel up. And exhale, float it forward. Find those railroad tracks, and when you're ready, take a nice deep inhale, hands to the sky. If your back knee is up, press that heel towards the ground. We want to keep our front knee in line with our ankle. Hi, kitten. They just don't care. They're just like, oh, I think I'm going to walk here. Take a nice deep breath in, reach it up. And then exhale, find that twist. Right hand's going to come to the outside of the left knee, and your left arm is going to hug behind your back. Keeping those legs active. Good. Slowly unwind. Let's take a big breath in, fingertips to the sky. And right hand down, left hand finds the sky, revolve, twist. And on your next exhale, left hand's going to come down to the inside of the left foot. And the left foot's going to heel toe off to the side. Heel is off the mat, toes are on the floor. And again, we're going to experiment, with a little bit of cracking and popping in the thighs, in the hips. But find a little bit of movement, small or big, whatever feels good. And then if you feel like pausing for a moment before we move into our next stretch, next posture, go ahead and pause here for just a second. And then we're going to drop that back knee, grab those blocks if you want to use them, and we're going to walk back. Get a nice little stretch through our hamstrings here. Point and flex. And again, like I said, if you have the flexibility, you can come down if you like. But a good way to get a stretch without having to bend down or roll the spine down is to drop that left hip down just a little bit and lengthen through the spine. You can kind of walk your hands forward a little bit. So we're almost like in the shape of a crocodile mouth. I've been using that quite often. But that just kind of makes sense to me. So breathe here. And you're welcome to shift around too, to see what feels good, what feels best. And then we're going to take both our hands and we're going to shift them over to the left. I'm going to use my block. And I'm going to drop my pinky toe down to the ground. Find your breath here. Good. Go ahead and walk yourself back. So this time we're going to walk spin ourselves all the way around. Coming onto our knees here. And just sitting back on the toes for just a second. So we're just going to kind of work into the fascia of the feet for a few moments. Just resting on the toes. The toes are bent. Just for a few more breaths. Now for some of us, this could feel like holy cow, because we don't do it often. But you should. At least once a day for 30 seconds to a minute. It really helps stretch out the fascia in the feet. It can prevent plantar fasciitis. It's just really, really good for the feet. All right, so let's go ahead and bring those hands forward, and we're going to make our way into a forward fold. I'm going to use my block. I'm feeling a little tenderness in my low back today. And I'm just going to spread out my feet. So I'm going to come into a nice wide leg forward fold here. And I want to find more of a flat back position than just dumping down. Like which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I would just like to find a nice flat back position here. So pressing through the hips. We're kind of opening up the sits bones in the back and resting into our heels a little bit, making sure that we're connecting to the outer edge of the foot and also the big toe, and relax in the knees. And then we're going to start to sway from side to side, getting into the inner thigh here. Just rocking back and forth. And again, exploring, seeing how this feels. Does one side feel a little different than the other? Can you come down a little farther on one side? How does your balance feel? And just kind of inquire, if you will. All right, so come back to center. We're going to find a twist. So left hand either to your block or to the ground, and we're going to take an inhale, right hand to the sky. And you might feel a little bit more stretch in the inner thigh on the left side. Lengthen through the spine here. Exhale, bring that right hand down. Inhale, left hand to the sky. And exhale, release it down. One more time each side. Breathe it up. And exhale down. Last time, breathe it up. And exhale, release. Go ahead and heel toe those feet together. And we're going to make our way into chair pose. So you're going to drop your booty down and you're going to draw the hands up. Relax that tailbone. Shoulders are relaxed. Your weight is in your heels, hugging into your core. Draw yourself up. Inhale. Press into the soles of the feet. So good. Roll the shoulders a little bit. So let's just, for fun, try a little balancing shape here. So we're going to press into the sole of our left foot, really get ourselves anchored down, hugging into that belly a little bit. Let that tailbone relax. We just find a nice neutral pelvis here. We're not tucking, we're not pushing, just a nice neutral pelvis. We're lengthening through our spine. Arms are going to come out to the side just for now. And go ahead and when you're ready, draw that right thigh up so it's parallel to the ground. Good. We're going to open up the gate. So we're just going to swing that right knee out. Keep in mind, we're not twisting through the hip. We're just moving this leg. We don't want to torque our left knee. If you want an added bonus, little added extra, if it's in your practice, you can reach for the big toe. We're just going to take 2 breaths here. And then go ahead and relax that right foot to the outer edge of the left. Bring those hands to the hips, and we're just going to come forward, finding a nice little extra stretch through the hamstring here. If you have the flexibility, come on down to the ground. If you want to forward fold all the way, I'm just going to use my block today. Making sure there's no tension in your knee. One more breath here, and then gently bend into the knees, connect to that core, and draw yourself back up. Good. Let's find balance on the right side, really connecting into the sole of the foot, making sure that we're nice and stacked all the way up, relaxed in our shoulders and our tailbone. And when you're ready, you're going to draw that left thigh up. And if this is where you're at today, stay here. I mean, you're still balancing on one leg. So just meet yourself where you are. Opening up through that left thigh. Connecting into that right side of the body, really pressing into the sole of the foot. If you're into it, grab that big toe. Find a little stretch on this side. Ooh, not quite so flexy over here. Each side is different. You can play with your arm if you'd like. And then when you're ready, we're going to soften and bring that left foot over the right, hands to the hips, and find that forward fold. Using a block or not, it's up to you. You can even use a chair here if you don't want to go down so far. Find your breath. Good. Little bend in the knees. And let's bring it on up. Awesome. Uncross the legs, come to the front of the mat. Let's take a nice deep inhale, fingertips to the sky. Palms together, exhale, find that forward fold all the way down. Inhale, flat back, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fingertips to the ground. Let's go ahead and walk right leg back, left leg back. We're going to find a plank here for just a moment. You can rock forward and back on those toes if that feels good. little circles. And then go ahead and drop to the knees. Bring them out wide, toes together, find child's pose. Rest it back. Take a few breaths here. And then when you're ready, draw yourself back up. And we're going to make our way down onto our booties. Go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together. Knees are out, hands at the ankle. Find a nice lengthening through the spine, relaxing the shoulders back. And just allow the legs to drape open to the side. And I invite you to close your eyes for a few moments and just check in. See if you can feel your heart rate. Check in on your breath. Check in on your thoughts. See how your thoughts are doing. Hopefully you've got good ones floating around. This feels good. Relaxing through the hips. One more breath here. Release the hands. Draw the knees together. We're going to go ahead and bring ourselves all the way down to the ground. If you have a block, I invite you to put it in between your knees as we make our way into bridge pose. You could use a pillow or anything you'd like. Even if you don't have anything, don't worry about it. Soles of the feet to the ground, heels are close to your booty. Spread those toes nice and wide and lock them down into the mat. Really get into the soles of the feet here. Find a nice little broadness through your shoulders before we begin. Palms down to the ground. We're going to press into the soles of the feet. Take a nice deep inhale as we hug our thighs together. Hug, 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 hug. And again, we're going to fire up those glutes. Nice, powerful bridge as we lift our hips to the sky. And then exhale, float it down. If you feel this in your low back, you can not come up so high. You can try that. Nice deep inhale, bring it up, hugging those thighs together. Even if you don't have a block, hug those thighs together. Hug the glutes in and release it down. So this time I'm going to offer up a bind for you. So hug everything together, press the soles of the feet to the ground, up you go. Hands can clasp underneath the low back. Hug in those knees so we can get a little bit deeper into that heart opener. Let your chin be tucked so we have length through the back of the neck. Strong bridge for 3, 2, and 1. Let it go. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Go ahead and take that block, if you've got it, pillow, whatever, set it out of the way. Left leg's going to cross over the right, joining heel with the top of the thigh. You can stay here if you'd like, or reach under, grab the the back of the right thigh with your hands. Spreading your toes and drawing the pinky toe down towards your right foot, so away from you. Taking a couple of breaths here, making sure our shoulders feel relaxed. Go ahead and release the hands, right foot to the ground, left foot to the ground, cross right ankle over left knee, drawing the left leg towards you and clasping the back of that thigh if that feels good to you. Stretching or spreading the toes on the right foot. So what this does is it protects your knee. It kind of connects more into the shin and away from the knee, which is good. Relax the shoulders and breathe. Giving yourself permission to release any tension. Good. Go ahead and release left foot down to the ground. Right foot down and stretch it out. We're going to take our hands above our head. I love this. I think this is one of my favorite parts of the practice other than Shavasana. Go ahead and stretch the hands and the toes, finding this amazing opportunity to hug all your muscles into your bones, every single one of them, your arms, your legs, your chest, your belly. And then when you're ready, stretch it out, roll the ankles, roll the wrists. And we're going to go ahead and come into our final resting pose. So finding hands at your sides or hands at your belly, whatever feels really good to you, whatever calls to you. I invite you to close your eyes. Maybe take a few deep breaths and sigh them out. Find that relaxing breath. Releasing anything that doesn't serve you. And if one or two breaths doesn't cut it, try another one. You can imagine filling your body, your spirit with white light, and then releasing any gray matter. Softening the arms to the ground, releasing any tension in the shoulders. Softening the space around the eyes and the cheeks and the jaw. Releasing your body to the ground, to the support that Mother Earth offers to you. You are welcome to stay here for a little while longer. If you're ready to move on with your day, you can start to explore with a little movement in the fingers and the toes. You can rock your head gently from side to side. You can let that breath become a little deeper as it moves through the body, pulling in that prana, that energy. And then as you're ready, you can make your way to one side where you can rest for just a couple of moments, enjoying the stillness, this safe space that you've made for yourself today. Knowing that you can come here anytime. It's a nice little sanctuary that you've built for yourself. And then as you're ready, you can draw the palms down to the ground and push yourself up nice and slow. Make your way back into a seat. Let's bring our hands together in Anjali Mudra in honor of ourselves, in honor of you for coming to this practice today. Thank you so much. I'm honored that you decided to spend your precious time with me. Thank you so much. And if you don't mind, I'd like to close our practice with an Om. If you'd like to join in, that'd be wonderful. Take a nice deep breath. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste.